I'm going to be speaking for the next few minutes on the add-on options available or the piggyback options available. As we all know that our patients are getting much more demanding, so if there is a refractive surprise, fortunately, at least in Europe, we have the great opportunity to use add-on or a piggyback intraocular lenses as a rescue option for any refractive surprises. And currently, there are not very many companies. There are only 2 companies globally which have this option of piggyback or an intraocular lenses. And I wanted to speak to you about the add-on platform from Medicontur, which we'll talk about in the next few minutes. The design is very unique for any of the add-on lenses. It has to be specifically designed to be implanted in the ciliary sulcus. And the Medicontur add-on IOL has got the unique properties of having 4-point flex haptics, which provides a non-torque option and gives much more rotational stability. It has got a square design, but it has got rounded edges, so there is no iris capture. As you can understand, if these square edge lenses, which are being designed to reduce posterior capsular opacification, if these lenses are placed in the ciliary sulcus, then these square edges can rub against the posterior surface of the iris, which can cause pigment release, which can cause secondary pigment dispersion, and it can cause secondary pigmentary open angle glaucoma. So the lenses which are designed to be placed in the ciliary sulcus have to undergo a specific design in the sense they don't have a square edge, sharp square edge, so that they have rounded edges so that they don't produce any iris chafing. It also has to be designed in a different way. It has got a convex concave optic. In the past, before the add-on lenses were introduced, surgeons used to put 2 intraocular lenses within the capsular bag. So that was called the piggyback system, and we started developing what is called an ILO, or the interlenticular opacification. So that's why these add-on lenses are specifically designed so that when they are implanted in the ciliary sulcus, they are convex in the sense they don't come in touch with the primary IOL in the capsular bag, so that there is no chances of developing any interlenticular opacification. As you can know, it's the same material which has got a very high Abbey number, which means it has got a very low chromatic aberration. And it has got also a unique property that it can go through an injectable system through a very small self-sealing 2.2 millimeter clear corneal incision. So some of the unique designs which the Medicontur add-on lenses have, as I said before, they've got 4-point flexible haptics, which provides a very non-torque stable platform. And because it's a very stable platform, you can have very advanced optics either in the form of a toric, or you can have a standard monofocal, or you can have even put a trifocal optic on this, because we know that the stability is very unique. And because of that convex concave optic configuration, it sits very nicely in the sulcus. I'll share with you some human cadaver studies which we have done, so that it doesn't have any primary contact with the primary IOL in the capsular bag. And because of the huge optic size of 6 millimeter and also the stable haptics provided by this 4-point fixation, there is no potential iris capture, so the pupils can dilate and can constrict, so there's no issues of dilating these patients even if they have 2 lenses inside the ocular system. So I'll just walk you through this human cadaver study which we did. This is the human cadaver whole globes which we have taken, and we have dissected the globe at the time of the equator, at the point of the equator, and then the anterior half of the globe was fixed to a glass platform, so that we use the Apple Miyake system, where you've got the microscope, or we've got the camera from the bottom, and we've got the operating microscope from the top, so that it has got a unique opportunity for us to look at the primary IOL within the capsular bag. So this is the view as if you are lying down on the retina and you're looking through the vitreous up. That's all the irises. The iris has been removed, so what you're seeing 360-degree peripherally is the iris processes, and this is a single piece IOL which is placed inside the capsular bag. So you can see some of the sommering rings in the periphery, and you can also see some amount of anterior capsular opacification. So we deliberately choose different cadaver eyes which have got a single piece, a 3-piece, and a C-looped single piece, both the plate haptic as well as C-looped IOL. So this is an example of a 3-piece IOL in the capsular bag with very extensive sommering ring. And then what we wanted to analyze was to see how stable the add-on platform was on these different lenses. So we used a plate haptic, we used a single-piece C-looped haptic, and we also used a 3-piece lenses. These are all human cadaver eyes. This is the Visante anterior segment OCT where we have removed the cornea, we have removed the iris. So what you're seeing is the primary IOL in the capsular bag, and the secondary add-on IOL placed in the ciliary sulcus. And for people who have used the Visante anterior segment OCT, you can see you can put this digital caliper and you can actually measure the distance between the IOL in the capsular bag and the IOL in the sulcus. And in this example, because of the convex-concave configuration which I talked about, you can see there's a very nice clearance of about 1.24 millimeter between the two lenses, showing that this IOL in the ciliary sulcus has got very good clearance and stays very stable. And we had the opportunity to publish this back in 2017 last year, and we showed that irrespective of the type of primary IOL in the capsular bag, as long as the zonules are stable, these secondary add-on or piggyback lenses are very stable in the ciliary sulcus and provide good refractive outcomes. So now that we know that this platform is stable, then it gives us the confidence to go and put some complex optics into that platform. So the current options which are available with the add-on lenses, you've got a spherical version if somebody has got a monofocal IOL, and if they've got a refractive monofocal surprise, then you could correct them by just putting a standard add-on spherical IOL. If somebody has got residual astigmatism and you miss the opportunity to use a toric IOL when you're doing your primary operation, then you've got the option to put in an add-on toric IOL with the same platform. And there is also an add-on option where a progressive or a trifocal optic could be put in for patients who had previously have been pseudophakic with a monofocal IOL and now have expressed the opportunity to be spectacle-free or spectacle less dependency. Then you have the option to put on the trifocal add-on as a piggyback option as well. And the other exciting technologies which we will talk about in the instruction course this evening, if you want to join us between 5 and 6, is to add the Chariot macular lens, which also is the specialized lenses to provide intraocular magnifications for patients with macular degeneration. Once again, has been based, the optic has been designed on the same platform which we have shown has got very good stability. So we've got several options. You've got the refractive option, which varies from -10 to +10 with increments as tight as 0.25 diopters. Then you've got the diffractive or the trifocal option, which once again is available from -5 to +5 diopters in 0.25 increments with an add-on power of +3 diopters at the lenticular plane. And once again, as I said, for residual astigmatism, you've got the toric add-on option, which once again ranges from -10 to +10 diopters of spherically equivalent with wide range of toricity available. So there's pretty much as surgeons, we are spoiled for choices, and we're very lucky, at least in Europe, we have this great opportunity to correct any residual astigmatism for the patients. So I just wanted to spend a few minutes about the diffractive or the trifocal platform on this add-on lens. Once again, like the primary trifocal Liberty IOL, this is a diffractive refractive design. The central 3 millimeter has got the apodized diffractive structure. Once again, the same optic principle of the EPS or the elevated phase shift. Once again, it has got the 7 apodized diffractive steps. So the optics is very similar to the Liberty trifocal IOL, which you had elegantly spoken by the previous 2 speakers, but it just gives you the extra add-on option to be placed in previously patients who have been pseudophakic. So this +3 add, which is at the lenticular plane, translates to about +2.25 add at the spectacle plane, and it's once again a +1.5 add for intermediate at the lenticular plane, translates to about 1.25 intermediate add at about 60 centimeters at the spectacle plane. So there's a great opportunity to use this for patients who have been previously pseudophakic with a monofocal IOL and now suddenly want to have the choice to experience a little bit of spectacle independency. So I'm glad to share some results from Dr. Batusita from Spain, who has done a prospective case series of using 10 pseudophakic eyes of 6 patients who underwent an add-on trifocal as a secondary procedure. 4 of these patients were done bilaterally and 2 were unilateral add-on trifocals were implanted. That's the mean age of the patients, and the data which I'm going to show has been patients who have been followed up prospectively for about 6 months. This is the add-on calculator, which is an online calculator where you can go and put in the mean post-operative spherical equivalent, the cylinder, and all the biometry data. And this online calculator helps to calculate what the add-on toric IOL or the diffractive IOL or the trifocal IOL which you want to use. So there's a very similar online calculation system like you have for any of the standard IOLs. So this is one of my patients. This is not a trifocal add-on, but this is an add-on toric, which we have used. I'll show you the procedure is very, very straightforward and simple. This is the add-on lens, but as you can see, this is a toric. Currently, it's not available as a preloaded, but it's loaded onto a cartridge. The only slight difference is it's added in such a way that it is convex while you're loading it, and it goes through a self-sealing 2.2 millimeter clear corneal. And because it's hydrophilic, the delivery of this lens is very, very slow, and the leading haptics are easily tucked in underneath the iris and followed by the same for the trailing two haptics. It's a very, very straightforward procedure. And because of this 4-point haptic fixation, it's got excellent rotational stability, which is very, very critical if you're going to use a trifocal for a toric option. And once you put Myocol or Astelcol in to constrict the pupil, you can see there's no any evidence of iris capture. And it's a very straightforward, simple procedure to be done if you're using any trifocal. So these are the results from Spain. This is the post-operative refraction of patients. As you can see, excellent visual results post-operatively, both for distance, intermediate, and near. And there is no change in the intraocular pressure between preoperative to postoperative. None of these patients required any peripheral iridectomy, and because of the optic design, it does not produce any iris chafing, so there is no need for any PI. There was no change in the intraocular pressure. And there's a nice defocus curve. I'm going to quickly go through this because you have seen this from the previous two speakers. It produces nice 3 peaks for distance, intermediate, and near. So, and this is the post-operative patient questionnaire showing excellent satisfaction from the patients for good distance, intermediate, and near as well. Thank you for your attention.